So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our off-season rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Phoenix Suns. This Suns season is officially over. They got swept by Anthony Edwards in the Minnesota Timberwolves, and quite honestly, I think that was for the best. This was a team that just really didn't look right all season. This past offseason, they made the big trade, adding Bradley Beal, creating a really talented big three with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and ultimately, everything outside of those three players just really didn't fit very well. So today, our goal is to go ahead and obviously rebuild this team, hopefully take them to the promised land and get them a championship. And me saying that is not me meaning that Bradley Beal played well by any means in this series against Minnesota. He looked awful, quite honestly, and they are going to be in the doghouse with that contract, that full no trade clause. Not that anybody would want that contract anyways, but this team needs a lot of work. So our goal today is to get that done. Of course, let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section as more and more teams get eliminated. Example, the Phoenix Suns. We can get to more and more offseason rebuilds, but anything else you guys want to see, let me know down below in the comment section. We got some work to do today. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and talk about the situation that this Suns team now finds themselves in. After being swept by a very, very good and underrated Minnesota Timberwolves team, they now enter the first offseason with this big three together. And, I kind of tweeted this out the other night. Typically, when there's a super disappointing ending to a season like the Suns just had, there's a big move made in the offseason. I don't know what that move is. Let me just read you something here from Keith Smith. Fantastic Twitter follow if you don't follow him already. $194.1 million in committed salary, at least for 2024-2025, for 7 players. The second apron projects at 189.5, meaning they are over. That second apron, every first and second round pick after 2024 first, which is number 2 overall or 22 overall, is either owned or tied up in swaps. Basically, there's no future in this team. They can't add. They can't really do anything like that. And then on top of that, let's just go over some of the second apron rules. No aggregating players together in trades, meaning they can't add 20 and 10 million to take back 30 million. Can't take back more salary in a trade that they sent out. There's no mid-level exception, and they can sign draft pick and minimum contracts only. And honestly, that's not what this team needs right now. They need a better surrounding core to that big three. They need a pure point guard. I thought Jusuf Nurkic was awful in this series against Minnesota. And honestly, I don't really know where they go from here. So obviously, this is not a realistic rebuild, but we certainly still have our work cut out for us today. So let's just start out with Devin Booker. Had a fantastic game 4. What was it, 47 points, whatever he put up. The problem here is that Devin Booker is not a point guard, and neither is Bradley Beal. And playing 2 shooting guards together in the backcourt really isn't the way to win. I just don't see it. I never really did see it. It was always an awkward fit, and it's going to continue to be an awkward fit moving forward because nobody is taking on the Bradley Beal deal. Isaiah Thomas, they ended up bringing back the remainder of the season, rarely ever played. So Beal had a tough series, frustrating series, had never been swept before in his life until now, obviously. And, it's the full no trade clause for Bradley Beal. I understand that it wasn't the Suns that gave it to him. It was the Wizards, and then he obviously waived it to go to Phoenix. But this is not a contract that you're going to get, you're going to start looking at better, right? This is an aging player, 30 plus years old, who certainly has an injury history and ultimately is tied up for $100+ million heading forward. So not a fan of it at all. Eric Gordon is 35. I thought he played decent overall in the series. Get Damian Lee. I don't know. Maybe can be a rotation piece at some point. I know Grayson Allen was hurt. We're not going to sit here and pretend that Grayson Allen would have made that big of a difference. Sure, he would have been a nice player to have out there, but ultimately he wasn't going to win you a game by himself. That's not who Grayson Allen is. I also don't like Grayson Allen. He did get paid, though. I will make sure his contract is updated. Royce O'Neal entering free agency. Somebody they may want to end up bringing back. Josh Okogie, David Roddy, and Nasir Little. Again, these are just not championship caliber pieces. They're really not. Power forward spot, Kevin Durant, who has now in the past 3 years been swept out of the first round twice. Never really thought that would be coming, but he's 35. He's 96 overall. I don't think he'll request a trade this offseason, but we all know how Kevin O'Drama goes. I mean, I don't really know. Bol is here. I'm not going to sit here and pretend Bol is some sort of serious difference maker. I still think there's a little potential there, but ultimately it wasn't going to beat Minnesota. That's for sure. And then Jusuf Nurkic, who overall I still don't think as a whole gets enough credit for how good he actually is. Unfortunately, he was just absolutely dominated by the big men there in Minnesota. So chain snatched 4K. I have quite literally never seen something like it. Drew Eubanks and then Thad Young here as well. So, I mean, adding pieces that are competent to this big three is going to be our goal today. I don't know if Beal is going to stay here the whole time. We'll figure it out, but LeBron not retiring. So let's just get into it, man. Staff retirements, Popovich also going to override that. Hall of Fame, we got none. Jersey retirements, Lowry and Griffin. Draft lottery, I believe it said 22 overall is what they're projected, so I'm hoping that that's accurate. It is. We're at number 22 overall, which is good. It's definitely something that we can work with. Of course, getting any sort of young player in here would be great. Frank Vogel is definitely a guy who could be and probably is on the hot seat this offseason, right? You know, you have all the talent in the world with that big three, and you get swept in round one. Although a very good Minnesota team, there's no excuse for getting swept with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. It just can't happen. So Vogel goes this offseason. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm going to leave him for now just because the ratings are good. Not that I'm going to sit here and say I think he's some sort of genius or anything like that, but good ratings in 2K tends to do well. So number 22 overall pick. We also have 5 and 28 in round 2. I'm certainly going to draft somebody at number 2. I wouldn't mind attempting to move up, but I mean, again, look at the draft pick situation here. It is very, very bleak, to say the least. So this is a Suns team that went kind of all in. Matt Ishbia took over as the new owner, and he did not want to wait. I have a theory that I've been kind of working with for years that you can't buy a championship team. You got to build one. You really do. So I'm going to trade away these second-round picks, and then I will see you guys in the draft. Here in the 2024 NBA draft, let's take a look at the summary so far. Williams, Castle, Rizachet, Sarr, Klingon, Holland, Buzelos. All right, I knew we were never getting any of those guys. Tyrese Proctor is here. Ultimately, this team does need a point guard, so Tyrese Proctor, I know it says Prosper, it's Proctor, probably is going to be my best pick available here. I see Bronny James is also here. It's certainly an option, but I'm going to go with Proctor. He tends to do well in these videos, so we're going to go ahead and take him. 6'5" out of Duke, and he is a 72 overall. So will he crack the rotation year one? I'm not 100% sure, but we'll figure it out. Gordon, Eubanks, Okogie, Lee, all entering unrestricted free agency. David Roddy, I guess I'll pick up that option. I'm not super excited about that whatsoever. Udoka Azubuike. No, I'm just going to let everybody go. I really am. Again, I know there's not a lot of money here, not much to play with, but this is the situation we find ourselves in now. So a trade or something's going to be coming. I'm going to show you guys real quick a trade we are going to make, but before we do that, I'm going to show and I guess prove to you guys that yes, you can see Bradley Beal's no trade clause is on. I don't know how 2K works, but this is a hypothetical that he is willing to waive that no trade clause for a trade. And this is the deal we're going to make here with Cleveland. We're going to add Darius Garland and Karis LeVert, getting more of a pure point guard here with Garland. We can move Booker back to the shooting guard spot. I also consider this one here with the Kings. I do want to hang on to Tyrese Proctor though, so we're not going to make that deal. Darius Garland tends to play really well for me whenever I get him in these videos. He develops well at a super high rate, so I'm excited to have him here. So Booker back to the shooting guard spot where it makes a whole lot more sense, at least in my opinion. So his backup position will be point guard. And then other than that, I'm super excited about having Garland here. Obviously, this is not a realistic rebuild. You're all very well aware of that, but this is a team that has certainly made a move to hopefully get better. Also, I went ahead and signed Grayson Allen back. It's not 100% accurate with the exact numbers, but the money is relatively close to what he's going to be making moving forward. So Nasir Little is probably somebody who's also on his way out. I think this year one specifically, it's going to be about finding good depth pieces. Obviously, a lot of guys that we had on this team last year, or this team in real life, are now gone. So we're going to have to work on something. I'm going to move Nasir Little. I don't see a lot there in terms of potential with him on this team anyways. So let's just see if there's anybody here like Jock Lawndale. Bring him back to Phoenix. Charles Bassey, Lenny Walters. Kevon Looney. I don't really want to give up a first-round pick, though. Oh, boy. Honestly, I'll do a one-for-one swap, and we'll add Charles Bassey to this team. Quality enough backup big men here. So at this point in time, we are looking for a backup small forward and backup power forward. I think Royce O'Neal retaining his services is probably the best we're going to get there. And then in terms of the power forward, it's not going to be great, but whoever it is going to be is ultimately going to be playing behind Kevin Durant. Not the biggest deal in the world for one season. So Gordon Hayward's just a little old at this point. Luke Kennard could be a fun addition. I don't really know where he'd slide in on this team. So I'm going to go ahead. I think, honestly, like Javonte Green, Haywood Highsmith, actually, for one season wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. So let's do that. And this team is officially set. I am going to play Proctor behind Garland. Obviously, LeVert came over in the deal with Cleveland. He'll be Booker's backup. Allen, again, I don't love it, but he's going to be my 3 for year one. Highsmith and Durant, and then Nurkic and Bassey. So, again, not the most realistic offseason in the world. This was never meant to be, but this team is definitely, or at least hopefully, going to be better than the season that the Suns just actually had. Let's set reset the rotation. After a couple major moves this offseason, we are officially ready to kick off our first season here in Phoenix. Of course, on paper, this team looks really good. Now, to be fair, last season, the Suns also looked very good on paper, and it didn't work out. So hopefully, it works out this time. It is Darius Garland at Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic, your 1 through 5. Bench unit will be led by new addition here with Karis LeVert. Brought back Royce O'Neal, got Haywood Highsmith in here, Charles Bassey, and then Tyrese Proctor. So this is a team that has high hopes. I mean, anytime you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker on your team, you should be winning at least one series in the playoff. That's just my genuine belief, even though I do understand the West is a goddamn war zone. It's just, there's just too much talent here not to do something positive. So I'm excited to see how this thing goes. I do think, on paper, this team should be seriously contending in the West. So we'll find out. See you guys at the end of year number 1. Year 1 comes to an end. We go 48-34 throughout the course of the regular season. 50-plus wins would have been fantastic, but ultimately I can live with it for year 1. It is a 36.5-point triple-double for Luka Doncic while shooting 47.5% from 3. I mean, that's insane. He's your MVP. Stephon Castle, not Cassell, Rookie of the Year. Cam Thomas, 22.5 off the bench. Wow. It's going to be 6th man of the year. Wemby's your deep boy. Trace Jackson Davis, most improved. Steph Curry, clutch player of the year. And JB Bickerstaff, head coach of the Cavaliers, is your coach of the year. All right, let's take a look at some numbers real quick. How did everybody play? It was Booker, Garland, Durant. Wow, KD. When was the last time Kevin Durant was 3rd in scoring on his team? I bet it's been a while. Nurkic, LeVert, Allen, Proctor, O'Neal, Highsmith, and Bassey. Rebounds per game is going to be Nurkic, and assists with Mr. Darius Garland. Let's take a full look at the standings right now. We ended up as the 5 seed here, and oh boy, you guessed it. Minnesota here in round 1. Let's take a look at their squad. I'm sure there's not many major changes. Conley, Edwards, Nickeil Alexander, Walker, Towns, Gobert. They did add Mitchell Robinson. I mean, they just love their big men around here. You got Naz Reid still as well. Bruce Brown's a nice addition there. So we do steal game 1 on the road. They tie it up at 1-1. We go down 2-1. Tied at 2-2. Go down 3-2. And get bounced in 6. All right, disappointing ending. There's really no other way to describe it. It is a Nuggets and a Bucks finals. Very interesting. I'd love to watch that series. I'm not going to lie. Nuggets win it in 7. Jokic averages a 35.5-point triple-double, and he's your MVP. All right, offseason. Oh, my God. LeBron was in Orlando for a season. He's going to call it a career. Obviously cannot override it twice. Same with Popovich. Is what it is. Hall of Fame inductees LeBron and Russ, very well deserved on both cases. Draft lottery time. I'm almost positive this is where our draft picks kind of run out. I don't know if we're going to have any picks moving forward for the remainder of this video. New York ends up with number 2. They're not actually supposed to have that pick, but I can't change. Just because 2K's stupid with their swaps and their protections. So dumb. All right, Frank Vogel will not be coming back. I'm going to move in a different direction. Mark Daigneault is sitting here. Joe Mazzulla is sitting here. I'm going to go out and get one of them. Hopefully, I'm just going to pay both of them a contract. And again, hopefully one of them is willing to accept it. If not, I guess I'll offer Stauffer some money too. So let's see. Not getting a goddamn one of them. All right, that's obviously sad. Let's see. Billy Donovan is sitting here. Oh boy. It's not a great. Will Hardy, head coach of the Utah Jazz. I don't love it, but it's what I kind of have to work with right now. So, you know what? We'll make an offer just in case. See, Peterson's here as well. I'll make an offer to Donovan. He's like my last pick, honestly. Oh, my God. Nobody wants to coach this fucking shit show. I honestly can't really blame them, but we are in a tough position right now. Let's just see. Head coaches. These. This is not exactly my. Is that Mo Cheeks? Oh my God. Not my favorite position to be in. By any stretch of the imagination. Kevin Ollie might be honestly my best get at this point. I have to have a backup just in case. So let's just see who else is here. Anybody else have decent ratings? Not really. All right, please tell me Kevin Ollie's coming in. All right, it is what it is. It's the best we're going to be able to do. We made offers to literally all of the top guys there, and Kevin Ollie was the only one who accepted. So, welcome, Kevin. All right, we have number 22 overall in round 2. That's not going to do anything for me, so we'll go ahead and move on from that. We look at team player options. We have absolutely nobody. Qualifying, we have none. And then, do we have any big free agents? I don't think we really do. Karis LeVert's definitely somebody I'd like to retain. I'm not going to let him walk out the door for nothing. We had Din Shitty on this team. Interesting. All right, we are going to make at least one trade. Running it back with the exact same group would be insane. We're making a deal here with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know the team that kind of just owns us right now, and it's pretty funny, but we're picking up Mitchell Robinson, who I think is going to be a little bit of a better fit with this team than Yusuf Nurkic is. Ultimately, Robinson, super defensive-oriented center, and I'm excited to have him here. So, Charles Bassey, not necessarily somebody I wanted to give up in the deal. I have no idea who Trevon Brazil is. Brazil, I don't know. But he's 21. Maybe there's a little bit of potential there. So, just getting a little bit younger at the center position overall. I think it makes makes a lot of sense for us with the way this team is constructed. There is some age here. So let's go ahead and maybe make one more kind of decently sized trade. I'm not really sure how I feel about this trade, but we are making it nonetheless. The Houston Rockets are going to send us Dillon Brooks in the 2026 first-round pick unprotected for Allen Braziel, a 2028 swap with the Nets, and a 2026 second. So that's actually a Brooklyn pick. Maybe that'll end up being good. The Nets are kind of in a tough spot, but Dillon Brooks is going to come in. You can have a conversation about who you prefer over Brooks versus Allen. I think adding more defense to this team with Dillon Brooks is certainly something that I'm happy about. So excited to see what he can do for us. At this point, I think it's really about just improving the bench a little bit. Obviously, some decent veterans on this team. I think Royce O'Neal is a trade candidate. Ooh, Paul Reed. I don't love giving up draft picks, though. And I say that because, I don't love giving up draft picks. God damn it. I could take on Keon Ellis and just move LeVert to the 3, which probably makes a little bit more sense. Buddy Hield. He is 32, so we're kind of in the same position we would be, but honestly, I think Buddy Hield would be a fantastic addition to this team. All right, I know it's kind of a hypocritical argument because O'Neal and Hield are the same age, which is also kind of crazy. I didn't even realize they're both 32, or 30 whatever now, but we're getting a really good player on a multi-year contract. Guy can space the floor. I'm fine with that trade. So who goes up more at small forward? Is it Hield or LeVert? LeVert goes up to an 80, and then Hield an 80 as well. I don't know, 6'6". I guess you can play a backup small forward. Okay, so our goal right now is to find ourselves a just some sort of backup big man. We obviously moved Charles Bassey in the deal, and I'd like to see who's available here for us to potentially sign. So, a guy like Steven Adams, gonna regress. He regresses pretty hard. But Kevon Looney, I've had some success with in the past. So we'll bring him in. Good veteran, experienced winner. I think that makes a lot of sense for us. So, all right, this is the team we're going to head into year 2 with. I think we are improved. I think the team fits better together. I'll see you guys at the rotation. Last season, we got bounced in the first round. Again, that obviously cannot happen heading into what is going to be a make-or-break second season here in Phoenix. We made a couple other moves this offseason, adding 2 new starters in Dillon Brooks and Mitchell Robinson, and I do think this team, on paper at least, fits together better. So it is Garland, it is Booker, Dillon Brooks, Kevin Durant, and Mitchell Robinson. Year 1 through 5. The bench unit's actually improved as well. Karis LeVert, we ended up re-signing. We brought in Buddy Hield, brought in Kevon Looney. Tyrese Proctor remains the backup point guard. Haywood Highsmith in here as the backup to KD. So again, just building out the depth on this team. It's quality depth at that. And so I'm excited for the second season. I'm hoping that it's going to go better than year 1. And I'll see you guys at the end of it. It's another MVP for Luka Doncic. More importantly, we go 54 and 28 throughout this second regular season here. I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping it's good enough for a top 3 spot in the West, and time will tell. Ace Bailey's your Rookie of the Year. He is in New York. Wiseman found a new home in Cleveland, 6th man. Chet Holmgren is your depoy. Wow, I feel like it's just always Wemby. So cool to see somebody else. Nikola Topic, most improved. Nikola Jokic, Clutch Player of the Year. And Jason Kidd, head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, is your Coach of the Year. So let's take a look. I saw we were the 3 seed. We have a matchup here with Memphis in round 1. All right, at least we can avoid the Timberwolves, who look to just be out of the playoffs completely. Wow. All right, here's a look at the Eastern Conference. The Charlotte Hornets are the new powerhouse of the East. Interesting. All right, here are the numbers. Booker, Durant, Garland, all at 21.5 plus points per game. Dillon Brooks, Buddy Hield, LeVert, Proctor, Robinson, Highsmith, and then Looney. Boards per game was Robinson, and assists was Mr. Garland. So, as I mentioned, we have the Memphis Grizzlies here in round 1. We have yet to get out of the first round of the playoffs. They've added Larry Markin into their team. That's an interesting addition. This is a good Grizzlies team. I think we are better, but they are certainly not going to just take a sweep or an ass beating willingly. We're up 3-1 right now. We do win in 5. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Wow, the 7-seed Pelicans upset the 2-seed Dallas Mavericks. Daniels, Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Valanciunas. Not a ton of really any changes right there. They actually take game 1 from us. We go 1-1 with them, down 2-1, tied up at 2, go up 3-2, game 7. We win. All right, Western Conference Finals time. It is us and the Denver Nuggets who have added Ben Simmons. Okay, I have a couple questions. More importantly, how is Michael Porter Jr. not in the starting lineup? No disrespect to Christian Brown, but Michael Porter Jr. should be starting 1,000%. Andre Drummond there as well. All right, they still have the best player in the series, Nikola Jokic. No question about that. We might be a better complete team, you know what I'm saying? We're going to game 7 here, and fucking goddamn it. Blew a 3-2 lead. Blew a 3-2 lead, and I'm annoyed. I am annoyed. This Suns team has all the talent in the world. No. I always override the retirement for the stars. Thank God it's the final season anyways, but no, KD, you're not going out like that. There's no goddamn way that I'm letting you go out like that. All right, let's get into it. Draft lottery time. Oh, that Brooklyn Nets pick's unprotected. That was from the Dylan Brooks trade, which looks so much better on paper now. And it's going to be the 5th overall pick. So we fell a couple spots, which is annoying, but you live and you learn. I thought Kevin Ollie did a decent job in his first season here with us, so we'll retain his services heading into our final regular season. So number 5 overall pick. Couple different things we can do with it. Let's see what we can come up with. When all things go wrong, let's just add more talent. I know that's kind of the thing that the Suns did to get them in the predicament they are in right now, but ultimately it's 2K. It should work. Let's try to add Brandon Ingram to this team. So we don't have a ton of other assets we can give up in terms of players. We have a few first-round picks, and that's all it takes. Well, all right, Brandon Ingram officially on this team. We might have had a second. We did. Tyler Bentley, sure, why the hell not? Team player options, Proctor is going to be coming back. We look at qualifying. We have none. And at this point, I'm very excited. Kevin Durant has 17 offers here in free agency, none of which are even that real. So we're going to bring him back, and then Mitchell Robinson, certainly somebody I'd like to retain as well. So we do have to replace Haywood Highsmith, who's coming off the bench as our backup power forward, but there's just so much firepower on this team right now, I really don't know how you beat us. So I am not going to be playing Tyler Bentley. I need to find myself a shooting guard, and I need to find myself a power forward. So Bogdan Bogdanovic should be a nice addition. I know he's 33, so we're going to see some regression, but I can live with it. And then honestly, at this point, let's just bring back Haywood Highsmith. He did his job. He's a high-energy guy off the bench. I'm excited to see what he can do. So this is the team heading into the final season. I understand the bench unit is a little bit old, but there's all the talent in the world you can have here. So I'll see you guys at the start of the final regular season. It's go time for our final regular season here in Phoenix. It is officially championship or bust. Last year we made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals and blew a 3-2 lead, which is unfortunate, but not really surprising at this point. I'll say that. So we added Brandon Ingram, obviously a fantastic addition. Garland at Booker, new addition here with BI. Still got KD at Mitchell Robinson. The bench unit's interesting because LeVert and Proctor are certainly our 2 highest overalls. And Kevon Looney, we're seeing some regression. Haywood Highsmith around the same overall. Bogdanovic regressed heavily. I wasn't necessarily expecting that much, but he's only playing 10 minutes a night, so who cares? I will see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Our final regular season wraps up with a record of 59-23. I always love winning 60-plus games in my final season. Unfortunately, today is not going to be one of those times. So we'll really find out if this team's good enough in just a second. John Morant's your MVP. Koa Pete, your Rookie of the Year. Tyler Smith, 6th Man of the Year. Wemby's your deep boy. Bronny James, most improved. Maybe I should have drafted him. Trae Young is now in Orlando. Would be a very interesting fit in real life. And Kevin Ollie does win Coach of the Year. So assuming that was the best record in the league, we are a 1 seed for the first time, which of course is great, but we are in a very good Western Conference. We did not have the best record in the league. That was the Sixers. All right, let's get into some numbers. It was Booker, Durant, Ingram, Garland. I mean, I don't really know how much more firepower you can add to a team like this. It's just, you got to win. That's just the only thing we got. So, Warriors here round 1. Steph, Pajemski, Wiggins, Kuminga, Trace Jackson-Davis, Robert Dillingham. So, it's Steph in a whole new era. Now, we dropped game 1 to him. That is very, very oh my God. Oh my God. There's no way. There's no way. I got nothing, right? I mean, I truly, genuinely have nothing for you. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I put together a talented team. I need more out of Garland here. Wow. There are disappointments sometimes in this, and this might take the cake for the most disappointing. Let's just shoot me when I'm down. I don't know. I thought all the talent we needed was here. Again, you can't buy a championship. It's my theory. It has been for a long time. There are, of course, exceptions to that, but this team should have won. There's nothing else about that. This team has the ability to win a championship, and we just didn't today. We had our earliest exit here in year 3. Well, technically same as year 1, but you get it. Disappointing to say the least. I guess we can chat about the Suns in general. There's no reason that a Devin Booker and a Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal-led team gets swept in round 1. I don't care who you're playing. They shouldn't be swept. So that's disappointing. Obviously, there's not many other directions that the Suns team can go. Nobody's taking on that Bradley Beal contract. I cannot imagine anybody having any remote interest, nor would I think he'd waive his no-trade clause. So that's it for me in this one. This team might just be cursed. That just might be where we're at. And I feel bad for you, Suns fans, because you have all the talent on paper and just none of it translates to the court. So that's it for me, man. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.